people. Why is this car still on? I don't know. I'm going to talk to those who may be interested, some of the younger saxophone players, right? Especially specifically those who grew up in the church playing behind choirs. I talked to a couple of folks who are, semi-popular, pretty popular, about, how they came up, right? So their stories were pretty much the same in that, they played with choirs and they had to play very loud in order to project and get over the choir, that kind of thing. So, what I try to tell people, because I don't really want to tell people how to play or whatever. That's not my thing. But I want you to consider that you no longer play for a large choir. You no longer have to play like that, and you no longer have to fight rhythm sections that, every beat somebody's doing reharm and playing chops, all kinds of stuff and all kinds, just to get the energy of the crowd going. That's not what this is anymore. You may want to consider, it may work on the performance end of it, but the recording end of it, you might want to consider the fact that you are now the focal point and you are responsible. Because think of it this way, the choir or, that aspect of it was basically they're trying to tell a story and get the crowd hyped about the story that the lead vocalist is telling, right? Supported by the choir, supported by the rhythm section, and then you. I've been hearing, some of these concerts that were mixed and now released. The saxophone sounds like a little mosquito flying around way in the back because there's too much going on, and they have to. And the mixing engineer has to prioritize. Well, what am I going to do? So what they'll do is, they obviously have to have the lead vocalist, then the choir, rhythm section, and then you. Well, now everything's flipped. So now what are you going to do? Now you become the focal point and the storyteller. You can't play the way you're playing now or then and think that you're going to be the master storyteller, because it's just not going to work. If you keep playing like a mosquito, then it may be exciting for you, but you're going to burn out very quickly. I think mosquitoes really don't even have a long life. Anyway, I digress. And I don't mean to sound like that, but I do want you to think about that, and listen to yourself playing when you played with the crowd or with the choir, and listen to how you play now. If it's similar, you might want to expand your game. If you're in this for the long run, you have artists that you can, kind of compare yourself to, like Kirk, Gerald, Everett, Dave Cause, other people, dude out of LA, I forget his name. Bad. But anyway, there are many people that you can pattern yourself after and study the way they deal with melody, improvisation, outro, and all that. I would encourage you to, only because you think about where we are now. It's a single-driven, smooth jazz especially, is a single-driven format. Everybody's fighting for the single. Everybody's fighting for that, that watercolors play and the top 10 this, top 10 that. And then it rolls over into the next person, the next artist, or the next record label, so on and so forth. You are responsible for your own career. And if you don't establish a multi-pronged approach to dealing with this record or dealing with this industry, you got to be careful, because if you come one way or play one way, especially the way that you used to play when you had to go over choirs and over rhythm sections and all that kind of stuff, now you don't need to. You need to be able to tell a story from many different perspectives and study and work your story that way. And it's a much different approach than when you used to play with a choir. So anyway, it's a thought. I want people to do well, obviously. Some people will say, I don't know what I'm talking about, but, I've done pretty well, and I've taught people to do better than I've done. So it's just something you might want to think about, because you're no longer that mosquito way in the back that's playing the little woo 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 and trying to find a place to fit in after the lead vocalist sings and after the choir, sings and the rhythm section is going. You're the last thought. Ain't nobody paying attention to what you're doing. Now they are. So now you're responsible for the story. All right, later.